Hello everyone, 大家好, and welcome back to Bitesize Mandarin. This is lesson 9 based on the study article for the week of November the 6th. So let's bungee jump right in with a quick review of some points that we've discussed before and also appear in this week's study article. So firstly, in paragraph 1, we have this sentence. 你听到参孙这个名字时会想到什么呢? What comes to mind when you hear the name Samson? So that's an example of a callback. 参孙这个名字, the name Samson. And in this instance, the callback is absolutely necessary. Without it, the sentence would read, 你听到参孙时会想到什么呢? What comes to mind when you hear Samson, which might lead to some confused glances. In paragraph 11, we have the sentence, 不要依靠自己，而要依靠耶和华. Rather than depend on ourselves, we instead should rely on Jehovah. So the pattern we've previously discussed is this correlative 不要而要, which means rather than do A, instead do B. And something else we've also discussed is that this structure and others like it can be reversed. 要依靠耶和华而不要依靠自己. We should rely on Jehovah rather than depend on ourselves. In paragraph 5, we have the sentence, 他能找到什么就用什么. He used what was available to him. And the pattern of note in this case is 什么就什么, which is a correlative meaning whatever. So that this sentence, he used what was available to him, could be rendered, he used whatever he could find. And then back in paragraph 11, we have the sentence, 我努力天天读圣经，也深入研读其中的内容. I try to keep up with daily Bible reading and personal study. So the vocab point was 其中, 其 meaning it, in this case referring right back to the noun 圣经, and 中 meaning within. So 其中 means within it. 读圣经, read the Bible. 深入研读其中的内容, study the contents within it. Another 其中 sentence is found in paragraph 12. 参孙曾经做过不明智的决定. Samson at times made bad choices. 其中一个为他带来了可悲的后果. One of them led to tragic consequences. So this time it's 其中一个, meaning one of them, one of the bad decisions he made. Another word we've discussed before is 带来, lead to. In this case, it's 带来了, meaning led to. And finally, 为, meaning for, led to tragic consequences for him. So that was just a quick review of some previous points. Now let's take a look at a new point in paragraph 7, where we have this sentence, 很多参与上帝组织建筑工程的弟兄姐妹. Many brothers and sisters who are involved in theocratic construction projects. So what's the point we want to focus on from this sentence? It's actually the entire sentence. And this sentence pattern is called a noun phrase. And in Chinese, it takes the structure phrase, de, noun. So let's go back to the sentence in the paragraph and we'll just deconstruct it to examine how this actually works. So in the English, we see the words who are. And we can use that point to split the sentence and examine how noun phrases work in English. So as we can see, the noun brothers and sisters comes before the words who are. And the phrase involved in theocratic construction projects comes after the words who are. And so the noun phrase is made up in this way. Brothers and sisters who are involved in theocratic construction projects. The noun comes before who are and the phrase comes after who are. And the entire noun phrase is prefixed with the word many. Many brothers and sisters who are involved in theocratic construction projects. And that's how longer noun phrases are often formed in English. Now let's take a look at how it works in Chinese. In English, everything revolves around the words who are, but the focal point in Chinese is, as you may have guessed, the. But while the noun comes before who are in the English, in the Chinese it comes after the, 弟兄姐妹. Similarly, the phrase in the English sentence comes after who are, involved in theocratic construction projects, whereas the phrase in the Chinese sentence comes before the, 参与上帝组织建筑工程. So really the only similarity between longer noun phrases in Chinese and English is that if there's anything like a number or adjective that describes quantity, it will come before the entire noun phrase. In this case, it's many, 很多. It could be several, 几位. It could be two, 两位. But that is where the similarity ends. For example, in English, where we would say two faithful sisters who are involved in theocratic construction projects. In Chinese, we'd say 两位参与上帝组织建筑工程的中心姐妹. And that's really an extension of one of the most fundamental patterns in Chinese, which is number, measure word, noun. Two sisters in Chinese is 两位姐妹. Then when we want to add an adjective, the pattern becomes number, measure word, adjective, 的 noun. 两位中心的姐妹. And finally, back to using the noun phrase with an adjective. The pattern is number, measure word, phrase, 的 adjective, noun. 两位参与上帝组织建筑工程的中心姐妹. So noun phrases, as we can see, are crucial for forming longer sentences, which often enable us to make more detailed descriptions of things or people. Another example of this can be found in paragraph 9. 看见这个水前的以色列人可能会想到, the Israelites who saw that flowing water may have been reminded that. So let's break this down in a similar way and examine how the noun phrase works in the English. So this time we would split the sentence with the word who, and then we can see how the noun phrase is formed around it. So as before, the noun Israelites comes before the word who, and the phrase saw that flowing water comes after the word who, and then comes the remainder of the sentence, may have been reminded that. Now let's compare that to the Chinese. Again, the pivotal point is 的, and the noun 以色列人 comes after the 的, and the phrase 看见这个水前 comes before the 的. And all of this makes up the noun phrase. The Israelites who saw that flowing water, 看见这个水前的以色列人. So noun phrases are extremely common, and in fact we've seen lots of instances of this in previous lessons. For example, in lesson 5 we saw a variation of this sentence. 这就是耶和华派耶稣来到地上的理由. This was the reason why Jehovah sent Jesus to the earth. And now if we do the same kind of breakdown, and we can examine how the noun phrase works in both the English and Chinese. So we can see that the split point in English is the word why, whereas the split point in Chinese is again the character 的. Coming before the word why in English is the noun reason, and coming after 的 in Chinese is the noun 理由. And the phrase Jehovah sent Jesus to the earth comes after why, and 耶和华派耶稣来到地上 comes before the 的. And all of this together forms the noun phrase. The reason why Jehovah sent Jesus to the earth, 耶和华派耶稣来到地上的理由. And both in the English and Chinese, we have the introductory words, this was, and 这就是. So in English sentences that contain noun phrases, the split points are often words like why, who, when, where, that. Whereas in Chinese, the split point is always 的. So with all that in mind, and just to liven things up a little, in the next few slides, you'll see some noun phrase sentences in English and a 10-second timer in which to translate them into Chinese. The first sentence is, the meal that you cooked for us yesterday. 你昨天晚上为我们做的饭非常好吃。People who have not read the Bible. 没有看过圣经的人可能会对这个主题感兴趣。Bible students who regularly attend meetings. 经常参加聚会的圣经学生通常进步的比较快。Do you still remember the time when we went to the park together? 你还记得我们一起去公园的时候吗？记得，我还有美好的回忆啊。Now for the next sentence, you'll need the words 在街上 on the street and 遇到 meaning to come across or encounter, to meet. I didn't expect that the young couple that we met on the street yesterday 我没想到我们昨天在街上遇到的年轻夫妻今天会来参加聚会。I've already started reading the book that you gave me last week. 我已经开始读你上个星期给我的书。And just on this last sentence, have you ever noticed how native speakers will often take something like this, 你上个星期给我的书, and place it at the front of the sentence. 我已经开始读. So this kind of pattern is called topic comment. It's not so common in English, but in Chinese Mandarin, it's very, very common, and often is actually the preferred way to say things. So topic comment is something we'll look at and explore further in a future lesson. But to recap what we've just learned, noun phrases in Chinese are made with the phrase first, then the noun. Now let's take a look at another point, and this time we're having a look at paragraph 15, where we find the sentence, 参孙这次杀死的非利士人比以往的都多。Samson was more successful against the Philistines on this occasion than ever before. And we have this very useful phrase, 比以往都多, meaning more than ever before. To break it down, 比 is a preposition meaning compared to. So for example, 你比我高 means compared to me, you are tall. But it's actually easier to think of 比 as than. 你比我高, you are taller than me. 以往, a noun, means in the past or the past. 都, an adverb, means any or all. And 多, an adjective, means more. So altogether, 比以往都多 means more than any time in the past, or simply more than ever before. So let's go back to this sentence. And to align the English more closely with the Chinese, we could say, the amount of Philistines that Samson killed on this occasion was more than ever before. And to align it even closer, we can simply say, the Philistines that Samson killed on this occasion was more than ever before. And now what do you notice about the sentences in English and Chinese? They both contain a noun phrase. So the split points being the in the Chinese and that in English. The noun is 非利士人 in Chinese after the de and Philistines before the that. And the phrase is 参孙这次杀死 coming before the de and Samson killed on this occasion coming after that. So this in its entirety is the noun phrase 参孙这次杀死的非利士人 the Philistines that Samson killed on this occasion. And then we have 比以往 compared to the past, and then the. So what is the de doing here? Well, actually, it's 比以往的非利士人. So the Philistines that Samson killed on this occasion, 参孙这次杀死的非利士人 compared to the Philistines in the past, 比以往的非利士人. But of course, when the object has already been stated earlier in the sentence, the Chinese often omits it. And to make it easier, we can go a step further and omit the de. So instead of 比以往的非利士人 compared to the Philistines in the past, now it's just 比以往 compared to in the past. And then we have 都 meaning any, so compared to any time in the past, and then 多 meaning more. So compared to any time in the past, more. In other words, more than ever before. 比以往都多. Now let's look at some more examples using this phrase. 现在我们听到的坏消息比以往都多. Nowadays, we've been hearing more bad news than ever before. 最近参加聚会的人比以往都多. Recently, there have been more people attending the meetings than ever before. 今年的新客户比以往都多. We've had more new customers this year than ever before. So you may have noticed that we've only been using this phrase with nouns. 非利士人, 坏消息, and 人, 新客户. So essentially the pattern is noun plus 比以往都多. And that's how we say more noun than ever before. But what if instead of more noun than ever before, we want to say more verb than ever before, or more adjective than ever before? Well, we'd need a slightly different structure. So instead of noun plus 比以往都多, we would say 比以往都更 verb. And this is how we'd say more verb than ever before, or 比以往都更 adjective, more adjective than ever before. Let's take a look at some examples with verbs. 人们比以往都更需要 verb, 圣经的好消息. People need the good news from the Bible more than ever before. 现在他比以往都更重视自己跟上帝的关系. Now he values his relationship with God more than ever before. 学生们比以往都更努力 adverb, 学习 verb. The pupils study harder than ever before. And some examples with adjectives. 这个世界比以往都更暴力. The world is more violent than ever before. 那对夫妻比以往都更快乐. That couple are happier than ever before. So to recap, we use noun plus 比以往都多 to say more noun than ever before, and 比以往都更 verb or adjective to say more verb or adjective than ever before. So let's go back to the main article for our final point from paragraph 2. 本篇课文会谈谈 我们可以从他身上学到哪些宝贵的道理。This article will discuss what practical lessons we can learn from him. And so we have another interesting pattern. 从 somebody's 身上学到 something. Learn something from somebody. So 从 means from, 学到 means learn. But what does 身上 mean? Well, the literal meaning is on one's person. 我身上没有钱. I don't have any money on me. Something you should never say at the end of a romantic meal. But idiomatically, 身上 refers to the qualities or experiences associated with a person, which makes more sense in the context of the phrase 从 somebody's 身上学到 something, learn something from somebody. We can learn from someone's qualities and experiences. And that's what we're seeing back in this paragraph. 本篇课文会谈谈我们可以从他身上学到哪些宝贵的道理。This article will discuss what practical lessons we can learn from him. So what we can learn from his qualities and life experiences, that's all encapsulated in the word 身上. And here are some more examples. 我们可以从他们身上学到为什么我们需要保持谦卑. We can learn from them why we must remain humble. 关于服从，我们可以从约瑟身上学到很多. We can learn a lot from Joseph about obedience. 在祷告方面，我们从耶稣身上学到什么? What do we learn from Jesus' prayers? So the English says, what do we learn from Jesus' prayers? To align more closely with the Chinese, we could render it as, what do we learn from Jesus regarding prayer? So this is the phrase, 从 somebody's 身上学到 something, learn something from somebody. 从某人身上学到某事. Another interesting use of 身上 can be found in paragraph 15. 本篇课文讨论了发生在参孙身上的几件事. In this article, we have reviewed a few of the fascinating events in the life of Samson. So here the phrase is 发生在某人身上, happen to somebody. And bearing in mind the idiomatic meaning of 身上, the qualities, the experiences associated with a person, then 发生在某人身上 or 在 somebody 身上, happen to somebody, explicitly refers to something that someone has experienced or something that has happened to them. So back in this sentence, the English says, we have reviewed a few of the fascinating events in the life of Samson. To align it more closely with the Chinese, we could simply say, we have reviewed a few of the things that happened to Samson. So here are some more examples. 耶和华知道发生在我们身上的一切. Jehovah is aware of everything that happens to us. 我们也许没想到某种考验竟然会发生在自己身上. We might be caught off guard, 没想到, when a particular kind of trial happens to us. 为什么今天的我们应该留意发生在犹太人身上的事? Why should events that happened to the Israelites be of interest to us today? And lastly, just a bonus phrase, 今天的我们, us or we today. So often when we want to make a distinction between modern times and ancient times, in English we say us or we today. In Chinese, it's 今天的我们. 为什么今天的我们应该留意亚伯拉罕的榜样? Why should we today take note of Abraham's example? 约伯的经历跟今天的我们有什么关系? What does Job's experience have to do with us today? So, in this lesson, we've talked about noun phrases. More than ever before, 比以往都多 or 比以往更多, and learn from someone, 从某人身上学到某事, and happened to someone, 发生在某人身上. In the next lesson, we'll learn about complements of degree using the, offer suggestions, how do we say that, and how do we say it depends on. See you next time.